Do you ever struggle with getting too stressed out and too energized and feeling jittery, butterflies in the stomach, and so much so that you can't concentrate or do well at your task, whether it's a job at the office or if you're a public speaker or if you're a performer? This video is going to be for you. My name is Dr. Rob Smith, and I'm a performance psychologist and an author of the book Shooting Out of Your Mind: How to Shoot a Basketball from the Inside Out. And in that book, which you can find on shootingoutofyourmind.com, I describe the importance of energy management. Nothing is more difficult than to watch a shooter in a game get out there and throw bricks or air balls in an important game. And what happens is their tempo is off, their fluidity is off. Great shooters, great performers, and people who know how to manage their stress well are masters at managing their energy. So in this 3-part series, I'm going to be describing 3 great techniques that can help you learn how to develop those skills so that you can regulate your energy to get that optimal amount of energy. When you're performing in a task, you end up sometimes not having a lot of energy, so you got to get yourself psyched up. Other times you might be too psyched up and you have to kind of bring it back into that sweet spot. So that's what energy management's all about, is having the right techniques to bring yourself into that perfect zone, that optimal zone of energy. In this first video, we're going to describe the importance of breath. And by describing the importance of breath, think about breath as the bridge between the here and now and wherever you were when you were getting stressed out. Because typically, the phrase comes to mind, all anxiety lies in the future. Your mind is time traveling. You're thinking about something that might happen or something that you worry will happen, and your mind's in the future, and that's generating a lot of stress because you're almost imagining this thing happening even though it hasn't happened yet. I'm reminded of a quote somebody once said that my life has been filled with terrible misfortunes, the majority of which have never taken place. So it's that kind of stressed out kind of person that I think that this video is really good for. So the importance of breath. What you want to do is just take an important, deep, cleansing breath. So breathing in through your nose, hold it a moment, and as you breathe out, say to yourself the word clear. Clear. And just let it go. Shrug your shoulders out, loosen up your jaw. This is sort of a body check to sort of see where is stress building in my body that I wasn't even aware of it. I remember for many years as a student that I'd be busily at the computer or busily reading, and I would find my shoulders up here, and all of a sudden I'd recognize, oh my God, my shoulders are way up here. And I lower them, and I felt so much better. What happens is you're going through a mini fight or flight response, you don't even know it. And as you're getting worked up, the energy starts to cause your muscles to contract. And if you're not aware of it, you're getting tense in places that you really don't need to or really don't want to in the case of shooting a basketball, because you don't want tension in places that shouldn't be there when you have to have that fluid stroke. Besides the cleansing breath, that deep cleansing breath, and you oftentimes when people are shooting free throws, you'll watch them take that deep breath and then they bounce the ball a certain number of times and then release the shot. That's important. So the cleansing breath is important just because it brings you right back here to the present. Secondly, what you want to do is you want to think about proper technique. Proper breathing technique requires the mechanics to be accurate. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. Because if you're watching this video, that means you know how to breathe. So the point is like, whoa, Dr. Rob, why am I breathing improperly? Well, there's a very important reason. When you're trying to manage your energy, you should know something, that as the fight or flight process kicks in when you're stressed out, your breathing changes. You start to breathe a little more shallowly from the top of your chest as opposed to your belly. When you're asleep, your belly expands and contracts. That's the only part that really works. It's the diaphragm muscle. If any of you have pets out there, we have a little dog. When she relaxes, you can just see her belly rising and falling. When she cuddles up next to you and then she gets herself all settled, she does one of those deep cleansing breaths that I just described. She goes, and then she just falls into a little doggy sleep. What you want to think about in terms of proper mechanics is, instead of breathing up through your chest, like that, where you actually have to lift up your rib cage and muscles just to get air, you want to talk about lowering the focus of your breath to your belly so that your belly expands and contracts. Not up here like this. I've come to find out that the proper breathing technique also works when you're exercising. So for runners and for performers, when they're going through their sport or their exercise routines, the same mechanics apply. Breathing with your belly is going to bring in more oxygen, and it's going to help you flush out more CO2. Carbon dioxide, as you breathe out, is what actually stirs the heart to move faster. So as you think about blowing out that CO2 with every breath, you're also going to let your stomach expand to bring in more oxygen. So it's like drinking cool water when you're thirsty. Your lungs are thirsty for oxygen. but you also want to expel the CO2. So you want to breathe in nice and deeply from your belly. And I always do this when I'm doing the exercise, in through my nose and breathe out through my mouth. So in through your nose, out through your mouth, right? And that can also work when you're running, as I talked about before, or even if you're just a walker. Just with your elbows in nice and drop your shoulders down, let your belly do the work. Just concentrate on keeping your shoulders back and down, lifting your rib cage up, and just let your belly do the work, right? And you'll notice that as a runner, it might feel a little awkward because you're probably, especially if you're feeling kind of hyperventilated, like you're gassed from running, your inclination is to breathe heavily with your chest, right? But what I'm told is that that's wrong. You really don't want to breathe that way because it takes more energy and you're actually breathing with less oxygen receptors in your upper chest. You want to breathe with your belly. So that leads us into another breathing technique called centering. Another piece that you want to know about when you're breathing nice and low with your belly button coming out as you're breathing in and having it contracting back in as you're breathing out, you want to think about, there's something else that I've learned, is that as you breathe lower, your center of gravity gets lower. And that's important for athletes, particularly in terms of balance, but it also helps in terms of just relaxation. So as you're sitting there, I want you to practice this with me. Taking in a nice slow breath in through your nose, not a deep one, but just let your belly expand. And now let it go. And do it a couple more times. And as I'm talking right now, I want you to concentrate on every time you let go of the air in your belly will deflate. What I want you to do is let your body drop into the chair or the couch or wherever you're sitting right now. So breathing in nice and slowly in through your nose and breathing out slowly through your mouth. Let the energy go through your belly, but also feel your body sink into the chair or the couch. Your muscles should actually relax any unwanted tension as you're doing this, and you're going to actually feel your body drop a little bit. All right. And even if you're standing, you can also do it. If you're standing, you just have to keep the tension going in your legs, otherwise you'll topple over. But in order to maintain the centered breath, just imagine as you're breathing out that your body will start sinking into the stance or into the seated area that you're in right now. And that's called centering. So in through your nose and out through your mouth, dropping your center as you breathe. Now, finally, I want to talk about something that I think is really important, which is about expanding your breath capacity. You wonder why athletes and singers and people who use their lungs to an exceptional level have much higher oxygen capacities in their lungs. It's because they work them out. Our body will grow to accommodate the needs and the demands that it faces, and that includes your lungs. They can actually grow larger in terms of their capacity to bring in air, and your rib cage can get looser by practicing this. So what you want to do is you want to think about that centered breath, but I want you to maybe just sit there and count to yourself to a count of, say, 4 as you're breathing in, hold it a moment, and then breathe out to a count of 6. Now that's only 10, and that might be about as a good number for you. But over time, you'll notice that you'll probably be able to breathe in maybe to a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in with that. And as you're breathing out, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You might even have a chance to pause a moment before you count for the next breath. So as you're breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So as you get to that count, you might notice that you could probably breathe in a little bit more with practice so that you might get to a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the intake. On the exhale, you might be able to go to a 12 or even 16. So what I want you to do is work on expanding your breath capacity, sitting and walking. And you might even notice that your breath capacity will improve if you're a runner, because you'll notice that you can maybe, instead of breathing in and breathing out with every 2 steps, you might go breathing in on 3 steps and breathing out on 3 steps. Or on 4 steps. When I run, I usually go for about 4 steps per intake, 4 steps on the exhale, and I make sure I blow out that last little bit of CO2 at the end, because that allows my heart to slow down a little bit and allows me to feel like I'm oxygenating better. And this exercise will help you in terms of building your lung capacity, but you'll also find, if you're an athlete, especially an endurance athlete, you're going to want to have every ounce of oxygen you can breathe in, and using the right technique will help you get there. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please like it so that other people can watch it, and also subscribe to my channel so you can become a better athlete and a better performer. And please take a look at my new book, which is found on Amazon.com and also on my website, shootingoutofyourmind.com, How to Shoot a Basketball from the Inside Out. This exercise and many, many more are described in it. And thanks for watching and have a great day.